So you don't know what a roast dinner is?
No, especially if you're telling me like I went on a little like rooftop, sunroof top, whatever, how you call it, and
Yeah.
you're like we had a roast dinner. Wait, do you want me to tell you like what it would sound like?
What do you think? What do you think a roast dinner is?
A roast dinner would be, according to the context, you just put me in with the sunroof thing, like you're around with friends
Well,
and you're just, it's like
ig-
a game. It's like a game, like you're roasting people, like it's like a roast dinner.
no. Okay, so ignore the like sun ignore the sunroof because that was just like an added extra that they do, but it's a meal. So it's like an actual
Oh,
it's like a
like a roast. Oh, it's like the pig around the thing.
kind of, yeah, kind of. But so it's a roast dinner is what like I mean the Brits call it like a roast dinner or like a carvery. Have you ever gone for a carvery before?
No,
God,
I honestly have no clue what that word is.
that's so fun. I love that this because I swear you're always the one teaching me stuff, and I love that I teach it. This is something that I'm teaching you today.
Wait, we have to have that in Canada though. Like I can't believe.
So imagine it's basically like Thanksgiving, and you have like
Yes.
the turkey, you have turkey stuffing, potatoes, vegetables, great. Do you ever have gravy?
Yes, but we have good gravy here.
Yeah,
Like
good
not that
gravy.
like thick, weird, white
No, not
American weird
no.
thing. Ugh,
No, not that stuff, but the
sorry.
actual nice good gravy. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what a roast dinner is, and that's what we British people call a roast dinner or a carvery. And
Okay.
that's what we went for today. And we had like a roast dinner. That's kind of like a traditional, I say traditional, it's not, but like if you go to the UK, it's usually very common for people on a Sunday to have a roast dinner. And that's what we call it. It's like a roast dinner. So it's either roasted chicken or roasted beef or roasted lamb, sometimes pork, but not really that
Oh,
much. So it's
wow.
literally basically a Thanksgiving dinner, but we call it a roast dinner.
So you had a roast dinner, yeah, yesterday with friends, and I guess it's just like comforting. Like, why would you
Yeah.
have that? It just why the rooftop?
So it's because at the moment, so it's obviously it's Dubai winter, which is good because it's like perfect weather here now, or like it's starting to
Mm.
get nice weather here now. So it's not ridiculously hot. So there's now like this place that we can go to that's like a little bit of like a little bit of an open top roof place that it's like nice to sit there with your shoulders out but you're not too burnt, and in the evening you're not too cold or whatnot. So yeah, we had dinner there, so it was nice. That's why it was open. That's we won't usually that's not where a roast dinner is had. It's usually had obviously at home or like inside, but that's just Dubai for you, so we're just outside.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, no, I hear you. So it's like basically like a warm meal with like a piece of we call it roti. So it's like, you know, roast. It's like a
Yeah,
piece of good roasted
roasted
meat, and
meat. Yeah.
it's very okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear you. I hear you. It's very like
Yes.
fireplacey. Like you have a
Yeah.
fireplace. You eat your roast after like a long day outside, and
Yes.
okay.
That's what it
I feel
usually is.
I feel like it was probably like one of those things where when the men used to go and like like um oh my God, hunt,
Hunt, yeah.
they would have like a roast dinner.
Yeah, to be
Like
fair, that's probably where it originated from. I have no clue where it originated from, but that sounds something like that. Like they'd go, get the bird or get whatever, cook it, and then have that for the dinner.
have the little like the entire town like mingle and just go over this like feast. That's
Yeah,
what it's
pretty much.
giving.
That's
Okay.
what it's giving. So that's the
Well, that's
roast.
fun. That's cool.
That was fun. It was nice because it's now like I said, it's nicer weather now that everyone you can actually go and do activities now. And it sounds ridiculous being like, oh, it's too hot, but like honestly, when it is too hot, there is like places in Dubai shut down in summer because it's too hot. So they're not even open when it's too hot because there's no one's gonna go there. So like places at the beach are shut down. There's other cafes that are shut down because there's no one's there. Like, so things are starting to open up again, and it's just nice. So
Oh, so it gets like more like animated on
yeah,
the, I guess, sense of normalcy. Is that
yeah.
so crazy? Would you rather be cold all the time or hot all the time? Like too hot or too cold?
Too hot. I hate being cold. I hate being cold with a passion. I hate
Really?
being cold. Yeah.
But I feel like when you're cold, you can actually bundle up. Then when you're hot, you're just hot. Like you can't, like after being
Yeah.
naked, you're just naked, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess. To be fair, that is that. Yeah, that's a good point because I don't like. Yeah, that's true. Actually, I revoke that. I say, yeah, being too cold, even though I hate being cold, I
Mm.
hate being cold with a passion.
The passion.
I hate it. I can't, I don't like being cold. Especially in prep, it's the worst. It's the worst thing ever. But you are correct. You can actually at least bundle up and warm up, and that's at least something. Versus, I don't also like sweating too much. I don't mind sweating, but when it's like, I don't mind
Out of
gym
your control.
sweating.
Hmm.
Yeah, but also I don't this sounds really strange, but like I don't mind sweating, gym sweat, like doesn't bother me. But when you're in normal clothes and sweat, like that's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I need a shower, like
Yeah.
automatically. Yeah.
Like I don't care if I'm in gym clothes because I'm like, I'm gonna shower anyway, so whatever. But like when it's in normal, nice clothes and you're like, I feel uncomfortably hot, like, oh god, no. Like in jeans hot. No, yeah. Mm-mm.
Automatic
Not
ick.
fun. No,
Mm-mm.
not fun. So, but yeah, how's your week been?
Good, good. I can't believe how the weeks are like flying by now, but I feel like I've said that all year. But
I
I mean,
know.
we have what, 3 weeks until the new year? Like, not even. It's actually wild. And
I
yeah,
know.
so that's that. It's just flying by. It's just really flying by. But all in all, pretty good. Just the whole good old simple stuff, getting back into
Yeah.
routine of just getting buddy work every week and just keeping check on that. I just have like aches and pains like now a little bit, like I'm
Mm.
getting a little older. So like now recovery is plays such a huge part into my regimen and
Yeah.
just really like resting 2 days out of the week and just like active recovery as much as I can. I have this facility now with just like infrared sauna and like cold plunges. Like I
Mm.
did I did the cold plunge one time. Like it's every time like I need to, girl, I need to, honestly, I know it's so good for you. Like I'm sure it's really good, but I need to really like like grab
Embody
my
it.
balls. Yes, like really grab
Yeah.
my balls and be like, okay, today we're going cold plunge and like I need to, like, it's a whole setup. Like it's a whole mindset, and then I need to like figure out, I can get cold, like I can talk to the staff and then go in and go into the cold plunge. I need to be like right off cardio. I have to have my headphones on. I'm like, okay, we're going to the cold plunge.
Yeah. It's a
But
whole like mindset because I feel like one of my friends does it and he's like this when he does it. Like it's like he can do like meditation in there 15 minutes and I'm like, how? Like
what?
I've done 5 minutes and I'm literally like, get me out now, like immediately. Like,
5 minutes?
yeah. Oh, I've done 5 minutes before.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. But he's done 15.
Oh,
He'll do meditations and then all that type of stuff all the time. Like, and
wow.
I think it's nice though because it's because I've read up on studies and stuff and how to kind of like I don't know what the mode is called, but you kind of like it's almost like you just switch off, like you're because you're it basically is obviously you're meditating whilst you're in there. Because obviously when you're in there, it's really hard. Obviously you're focusing on it being cold, but it's like he goes in and he's just like calm. He's not thinking about anything else. He puts his headphones on. He's not talking to anyone, and it's like there's nothing to it. And I'm like, how are you doing that so easily? It's once you tap into that kind of like just control, it feels really good apparently. With like cold plunges and stuff. And obviously cold plunges themselves are great for recovery, but it's just hard doing them. Like it's
I
hard.
mean, honestly, if you don't control, it's kind of a, I was gonna make it like a very illegal metaphor or like comparison, so I won't say that. Um, so it's like when you go in, if you start like your breathing is like
Yes.
going crazy, if you focus on that, you're done. Like
Yeah.
it's just it's not gonna be great. And I remember I was like 3 minutes like that. Like the first time I did it, I thought I was gonna honestly die. And
I thought the
then
same as well. Because you lose your breath. It takes your breath away.
is it
Yeah. I was like,
yes,
yeah.
it's
Awful.
very scary. So like nobody prepared me for that. So I was like, wait. And they were just like, breathe. And the more someone tells me to breathe, I'm like,
Mm.
but I can't. I want to say, but I can't. So this time I did it like by myself, but I think I stayed like like a minute. It was like, I stayed a minute. I was like this.
Mm.
And then I was like, right when I got my breath into like control, I was like, wait, this is really cold. And then
Yeah.
when you get off, like your legs are numb and stuff. It's crazy.
Mm. It's good for recovery though. Like I honestly found like especially if you can actually be badass and do hot and cold, apparently that's really good. Um, but it's hard. So that's the hardest part, but we'll see.
Yeah. There's just so much. It's like, what do you choose, to like recover? Like my first thing would always be sauna because I feel like sauna is probably like the laziest one, but also like
Yeah.
the most enjoyable. I
Yeah.
love it. And probably because I'm more familiar with it and I've done it for a while. So like in first time I remember doing sauna, it was kind of uncomfortable, but then after that it's just like you start knowing and just with the infrared thing, it's good. But I think it's just the instant gratification when you come out of a cold plunge, you're like, wow, I'm a badass.
Yeah, you're
I'm a
like, I did
baddie.
that.
I did that.
I actually
Hashtag
did
cold
that.
plunge.
Yeah.
Mm.
Exactly. So it just feels good. I mean, recovery obviously at the moment for you is, I mean, for both of us to be fair, is obviously always priority, especially like you said,
Yes.
as us getting older and stuff. I feel like what's the main thing you do recovery wise on a weekly basis? Do you feel like it's the massages? Do you feel like you do the massages the most, or is there anything else that you do just weekly on a like a that's your day your weekly thing that you do
I think
consistently?
like if I go by the like in order, right? I would say sleep is first priority and like
Hmm.
the most consistent thing and the thing that I'm working on the most. And the second would be like making sure I take my supplements like glutamine, like
Hmm.
uh amino acids, and then third would be probably third would be training smart because I
Yeah.
it's like okay, I train to a certain threshold where like I know that yes, my rest day is going to be needed, but also like I'm not going to be sore for the next 5 days. So I'm still trying
Yeah.
to find that threshold, and it changes obviously with time and the older you get, and the more advanced you are into your lifting journey. And then fourth would be my body work, and then fifth would be probably like the extra stuff, the cold plunge, the sauna. Like I think I
Mm.
probably use like the sauna, the cold plunge, like more like a mental reset, like a mental reset. And it's more like a spa day. It's more for me like using the cold plunge is saying like, oh, I have like a facial. It's like the extra.
Yeah.
Everything is
Yeah.
extra. Like I don't use it as a recovery because probably just a matter of like consistency. Like let's say I was to put in my schedule, okay, like I'm doing cardio, my first cardio of the day, like 30 minutes, and then I go cold plunge, and then I go to the house and I start my day. Like that would be pretty neat. I think that would be
Hmm.
probably my goal as far as getting to that recovery, rest, train, rest, eat, repeat type of like circuit. That's probably what I would do. But what do you do for recovery? Because obviously the training is different, but I feel like recovery, it's just recovering your soul and like recovering your muscle. But do you do anything different than like when you're bodybuild you used to bodybuild?
I mean, to be fair, I think it's pretty similar to what you already said as well. So I think top obviously it would be for me now it's where I place my training because this week I pretty much fucked myself because I did all my long runs or like big runs after leg day, which was silly because like my legs were already absolutely beaten up and then me going running 9K on sore legs is silly. So I did legs. That's what I did yesterday. So I did legs yesterday and then I did 9K this morning. and
Oh my God.
it was so hard. Like, so I shouldn't have, I need to, next week I've already planned out my week better, but it's so funny how you do one thing different in your routine. You're like, oh, okay, I'll just move this, and it changes everything. So I've been doing everything like fine for the last couple of weeks, and this week I just changed one thing because I went to a different gym and it screwed everything up. So, but I think, again, yes, for me, it's strategically where I place everything in terms of where I put everything, because I don't want to do a leg day after. I don't want to do a leg day before a long run because that makes my legs really heavy, so it's harder to run. A leg day after running isn't too bad because I don't mind training. Training on fatigued or sore legs for me isn't unheard of, so it's not too bad. But running on like fatigued legs is hard for me, so I'd rather do those flip flops. So for me at the moment, it's just strategy of where I place my training. And to be fair, I've been changing up like the weeks. Like the weeks have been slightly different. So some weeks I'll do like harder sessions, maybe like heavier or whatever, or volume, and then the next week it'll be like different. So I don't kind of get too exhausted all at once. Because if I was to do heavy, it's the same as like, you know, when you're progressive overloading. If you do heavy all the time, you're going to need a deload at some point. And if you don't take that deload or like time to rest, you're obviously going to burn out and obviously get quite fatigued and tired, and you just will stop progressing, you know? So I think, yeah, training, sleep obviously is a good thing, which, did you see the study that just came out about sleep? So apparently, you know, it's like people say like, oh, you're supposed to get like 8 hours sleep and whatnot. Like that's how you're supposed to, obviously that's like you hear that it's like a normal thing. You should get 8 hours of sleep. That was tested on men. So men are supposed to get 8 hours sleep. So back in the day when they did all testing, like, oh, what's the best amount of hours people need to sleep? Everyone just said 8, but they only tested on men. So they finally tested on women, and guess how many hours women has to sleep to get an actual, like, for good hormone balance and all that type of thing?
12.
Well, not 12, but 10 hours.
10.
Fucking hell,
Yeah.
12. 10 hours, though. We're
Fair
supposed
enough.
to sleep 10 hours.
Wait, how much time do you sleep?
I mean, barely, not even 8. Like sometimes on a good day, I know I'm back, but I wake up. Like I wake up early, so I'll either go to bed. If I go to bed late, I'll just wake up early. I find it really struggle to get even 8 hours in, unless I'm exhausted. But I find it really hard to get 8 hours, which is mad.
Really? Wait, but
Yeah.
you nap. You do naps, right?
Yeah, I do nap. Yeah. I love that you know that as well. You remember that.
No, but because I'm like, I like the way that I feel with 10 hours sleep is phenomenal. Before moving forward, I just want to raise my water bottle and acknowledge the fact that you are officially a runner, because you just casually told me you run a 9K without like a budge. And like I did legs and I did 9K. So here, a shout out to you. And from all the Say More podcast audience, Phoebe is officially a runner. Period. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, girl.
Oh, that's funny. To be fair, that's the furthest I've ever
This is
run by myself as well. Because usually
Oh,
I'd be like, I know, because I'd be like with someone, or like, I feel like I'm quite competitive in that sense where I'm like, if someone's with me, I can push. Like, you know, when you like ego lift with someone
yes.
sometimes, that's kind of what it's like. Like I could ego run and I could
Yes.
blast it out and I'd be fine. But when I'm by myself, it's so hard. So much harder because you're just there by yourself. But yeah, I did that today. So
Slay.
that was cool. So it was fun.
Slay.
Slay. So yeah, it was so training, sleep. I do think I like recently it's something that I need to be better at, but stretching for me and taking care of like my joints and stuff recently, like warming up properly and like also cooling down properly, especially because of running and just the functional training in general. I'm just so aware of obviously where everything is, because I just get worried about one thing going wrong and it game over type thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just aware of that. So stretching, cool downs, making sure that obviously everything's just warm before going to it, which you should really do with, training anyway.
Everything.
But obviously
Yeah.
sometimes it is easy to just forget and stuff like that. And then,
So
like
like
the extras. like the compression boots and stuff like that, but they're just extras. That's not
Yes.
like part of the regimen and stuff like that.
Compression boots, foam roll,
Mm.
Epsom salt bath.
I haven't taken an Epsom salt bath for so long. I usually took them a lot in prep, but not much recently, which to be fair, I should actually do that. That'd be really nice to be fair. But it's not, again, like you said, it's not like a necessity. It's like an extra.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree, but very important. I'm a little bit concerned about your sleep situation, but
I know.
if you function and you run 9K, like who am I to tell you that, you should sleep 10. I just, yeah. I just love a good night of sleep. It makes me feel like a superhero. I could have, honestly, all variables the same, but if my sleep is better, everything is like, I just feel more regulated. I feel more up to beat.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I just have more cognitive, like everything is just like clicking
Yeah.
easier, you know?
Yeah, to be fair, I fell asleep the other day at 7 o'clock and I woke up and I slept all the way through. Like I woke up at like 6 and it felt fantastic, to be fair. So maybe I need to actually go to bed earlier. But do you know what it is? I don't know what it is because either I work later or my brain just doesn't switch off in the evening. Me and Max are both like the same where your productivity, have you found like where your productivity is its best?
No, but I know where you're kind of going. It's like productivity and like creativity, like
Yeah.
pikes, right? Hmm.
It like Max is the same. Max gets all of his creative thoughts. He'll be up editing sometimes at like fucking 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., like just on his laptop, like just going away or researching or doing something. And sometimes I'm up with him, sometimes in bed, whatever. But I don't know, sometimes my brain will just switch to really creative mode or doing something and I just won't turn off. And like, I don't know what it is. And then I'm still like, oh, I've got to still get up at 6 and I'll still get up at 6. So it's like, I don't know. I don't ever want to try and like shut it down either because I'm like, what happens if I don't get that thought again? Or like,
Aw.
I don't feel, so I'm always kind of like, well, let's
Yes.
just go into the thought, see what it's about, see if it's good, and then move on. But yeah, I do need to actually just take myself to bed earlier. Um, and I did do that. I just need to do that more often. If I'm honest, I just don't do it as much.
So you don't go down a rabbit hole like when you're just laying down in bed, you're actually like on the computer and you're like looking at stuff and you're like on your phone and you just come up with like
I
things
mean,
like,
sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes I am just in a rabbit hole. I think we all are when we go on our phones like late at night and then we just, and then you realize you look at your phone, you're like, oh, it's 2 a.m. in the morning and I've just been scrolling. Sometimes it's like that, but sometimes it is a case of like, I feel like it's more like I'll get an idea or I'll be thinking about something and then I'll go on my laptop and I'll be looking at something and doing this. And I'm like, oh, I need to go to bed now, but I can't because my brain's like
yes.
turning.
Okay.
So yeah, that's sometimes the case, but it's not always the case. I just need to get better. To be fair, it's better than it when it is in prep. Do you get quite bad prep insomnia, or are you
I
okay?
just always get it, you know? I always
Mm.
get it at some point. Yeah, I would say like 6 weeks out, it's normally when I start like seeing some little symptoms of insomnia prep, which is like, you start scrolling on your phone more, like you have just the Amazon blast. Like when you start Amazon, like packages coming through the door, you're like, okay, well, it's that time of the prep where like I couldn't sleep. And then I would wake up like often during the night,
Yeah,
just,
it's
yeah.
broken sleep.
Broken sleep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, which
Mm.
is like, I mean, it's super important. That's when like supplements like come super handy. Like I'm always
Yeah,
having like my sleepy juice that I call. So I take my little sleepy juice, and then normally I'm able to at least get 7 hours of sleep, like
yeah, that's good then.
non-interrupted sleep.
That's what we need, though. That's what we need. I sometimes just don't want to especially off prep. I just don't want to be always reliant on it. Like the sleep supplements and stuff. So then I want to try and make sure I can fall asleep.
I
What
hear
do you I
you.
what do you try and do to fall asleep just naturally? Do you listen to any music or anything at all?
I love listening to music. Like when I have insomnia, that's what I would do. Like I would
Mm.
just go and find the music. I try same thing with you. Like my mom told me because when I was young, I was like, oh, I want to listen to my iPod before like going to sleep. My iPod,
Yeah.
like when for going to sleep. And she was like, don't get used to something. So like
Yeah.
I didn't want to get used to like having music or sound. So normally I just try to like close everything around and I would just like breathe. And once you focus on your breath, like your inhale and your exhale, like it actually helps. Or anything
Hmm.
like sleeping meditation, Joe Dispenza, like whatever,
Mm.
but not sometimes. I mean, if normally I'm tired. To be honest with you, normally I'm tired. The only time that I will have a hard time to like fall asleep, like you said, the head is turning, but even then I would be like, okay, well, I'm gonna put on a show and watch something and just fall asleep
Yeah,
on it,
you
you
just
know?
naturally fall asleep. Yeah. You'll get
Yeah.
to sleep at some point, so it's just a case of when. Um, but I mean, today within the podcast, I definitely want to speak about like obviously we kind of got into the topic a little bit already of with recovery and stuff, but I definitely want to kind
Yeah.
of dive into training today and like I guess what our training styles are looking like at the moment, obviously because you're, going back into prep now. And what is it, is there anything different that your training is either done from this year, or what is it moving forwards that you're wanting to do with your training to improve your physique for kind of like next time you're on stage, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I got a new like training plan, a new training
Hmm.
split, which is like one more day of rest. Cardio is pretty high. But all in all, it's always kind of the same thing, but less of the same thing, It's like a little bit
Yeah.
of change, but still very meathead split, like hypertrophy style.
Hmm.
With different, I train with different body parts. I don't have necessarily like a push-pull situation. Like it's just hamstring. I train by muscle group more than
Yeah.
by the type of movement. So um hamstrings, quads, and then glutes and accessory work for so two lower body days a week, and then three upper, which is like one is back, and then another one is um arms and chest, and then another one is shoulders, and then that's it. So very
Nice.
simple, a little less volume because just trying to use that energy and just kind of build the muscle and like the fullness back a little bit
Mm.
from me resting. So that's when obviously I have more time to stretch and prep my muscle and all this stuff because I know my training is actually shorter than it
Hmm.
used to be. And like you said, like I'm trying to not fall into like crazy rabbit hole that I'm like six exercises down. Like I'm in between four exercises. On average, four exercises per workout. Lower body might be five exercise per workout.
Yeah.
And then sets anywhere between two sets to four sets on certain exercise. And the range is always between um 8 to 15 or 8 to 20 reps, but 20 reps would be like a warm-up situation. I only did it
Mm.
one time. And yeah, that's pretty much what it happens to be with training. Um, what is you said someone asked a question about a training, and one of like our audience said something about asking about a training. Like people are asking about training now. Because that
Yeah.
used to not be really like the first thing that people would ask. They always ask, how much calorie do you eat? Like.
Yeah.
So
Well,
what were they
someone
asking?
asked. Well, it was just a case of someone asked about like what the training style. Well, they asked from me what was my kind of how are you balancing kind of all your training at the moment and all that type of thing, and then they obviously asked about and said what are you doing again. It's the kind of normal. What are you now doing different from you've
Yeah.
won the Olympia now. What is it that you need to improve on, and what is it that you're going to be?
Mhm.
Is there anything you're going to change? Because I always find that interesting, where it's like you've won it now. Like that was the best of your best, but do they want you better? Do you know what I mean? Like, is there anything? There's always something to change. Obviously, in bodybuilding, there's always something to improve on. But
Okay.
would that then reflect on your training? Like, is there anything that you're massively changing? So I think that was kind of interesting that because again, we haven't had those like training questions for a while, have we?
Yes. No, no, I feel like it's rare. Like for some reason we're in bodybuilding and like I feel that training is always the last question that
Yeah,
is
I know.
asked, you
It's
know?
always calories and diet and stuff like that. But No, that's exciting though.
Yes. So, I mean, as far as that very like particular thing, you were just asking about feedbacks and bringing things up a little bit, or sometimes it's taking away, right, from the judges. So,
Hmm.
chess was integrated into my workout prior to the Olympia because the last feedback from the Arnold is that, I kind of have I mean, I don't really train chess. I don't have like a very developed chest, but we could see a little bit of my bone structure coming out
Okay.
of just because my structure, how I made, that's the first thing. But
Yeah.
we were like, okay, let's take that away from what they see, right? Sometimes it's not gonna
Hmm.
be so much in their face, but it's like, okay, how can we take that away from something that they say? So
Yeah.
we don't have that feedback anymore. So we just incorporated chess. So now it was not even in their mind to look
Hmm.
there because it's
Yeah.
gone.
It's
So
not. Yeah.
so I feel that that's a good mindset to switch if you're a competitor and you receive feedback. Instead of working towards what they say, try to make it where they don't say it anymore. And that
Yeah.
could be by enhancing different things, you know? Let's say my waist, we want it smaller now. Right, what are we gonna do? We're gonna take away some movement that engages other muscle that are part of the waist. No more RDLs. Like Kim's took away my RDLs. Um, I took my RDLs from my workout. I was like, "Ugh." He's like, let's focus and use our energy to bring up your upper glutes only. So I have, very particular movement for my upper glutes, and then kids keep on the width of your back for your back workouts while maintaining a very lower reps, lower amount of reps, but lower amount of sets. Like for me, three working sets, like normally it's not enough. Like I always kind of jump around and do superset and ended up doing 5 sets sometimes or 4 sets of an exercise. But he's like, no, let's do one warm-up set of your the exercise you're about to do. So let's say I start with a lat pull down, let's say. I would start, and that would be the first movement that I do as a warm up. So I warm up on the lat pull down, I do 20 reps, and then I would go into my 3 working set with progressive overload. And progressive overload could be, okay, I'm gonna stay at the same weight, which I manage and I own the weight or the load of the machine, the resistance of the machine, but then I would like have a hold at the bottom because we're really trying to like bring out my lower lat instead of just like the
Hmm.
width. Or then I would like stretch and have like a longer time in the eccentric part of the movement, etc., etc. So that's what we're doing right now with just enhancing maybe a little bit more of the upper glute and just bringing my waist even smaller with
Mm.
training. So like I said, the pass from the Olympia was just to like take away like my bone situation and just
Yeah.
my rib flare. So these are the two things that we installed for my next prep. But yeah, pretty much the
Okay.
same thing.
Yeah. Well, you said about the RDLs. What did you replace exercise? Because I know that's actually one thing I know a lot of girls have said
Yes.
before. Like, obviously, RDLs is such a great compound movement. So when you have to take it away, it's like, what do we do instead? What do you usually supplement it for?
It's so interesting because it's true that people are like, oh, but what do you do if you don't do this,
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, who told you to do anything anyway?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Exactly. Yeah.
and we just had a great seminar like we were just talking about with the hypertrophy coach, and he's like, what, like, who told you that? Like, who told us to do that? It's just
Yeah.
so crazy the boxes that we put ourselves into to like what is going to happen if you do just a full workout of just hack squat because you feel really good. But
Mm.
it's people are like so out of touch of their own body and how it feels and what it comes along. So for me, there would be possible things to do to modify the RDL and make it better with like a different moment arm, or like I could install myself if I'm like, I really want to do RDLs today. What are we doing? I would probably like put some restraint around me, or like arrange it where I'm not using a certain part of my body,
Mm-hmm.
but instead we're just focusing and putting the energy in more like isolative exercises. So,
Mm-hmm.
leg curl, lying and seating leg curl, and then I would do like a 45-degree hyper, for hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty good. But there's nothing like a good old like pull movement. I love a good RDLs, but it's too, how would I say? It's just not optimal for where I am right now.
No,
Or it's
because
just
there's
not
no need. There's no need to. There are other exercises that can also supplement that same movement without bringing in, your back, your waistline. Because I think RDLs, we forget that they are, especially with the load. If you
it's-
have like, it depends what you have as well. Because I feel like sometimes a barbell is worse than dumbbells for
yeah,
your back.
listen, I feel like like my biggest takeaway from the seminar, and just because it's so fresh in my mind, so I'm gonna share that with you because I think you would, if you would feel the same, it would be really cool. So there's like those three words. It's what you have, what you own, and then what you can tolerate. So
Mm-hmm.
have, own, and tolerate. So what you have is like, okay, today what do I have? Like I have a good range of motion, with my lat. Like I'm not really sore on my shoulder. I have my full range of motion, side to side, up and down. Okay, that's what we have available. But sometimes a bodybuilder cannot even like go and have a
Yeah.
full rotation. So it's like, okay, you have less range of motion, or you have limitation due to an injury, like you have ankle, or you have limitation because your sleep is off or your hormones are
Mm.
off, right? So like what do you have? This is the first thing. Then the second thing would be, what do you own within what you have? So when I do
Mm-hmm.
a pull down, do I own the entire movement, or do I feel like there's a release at the top, or like there's a weakness, let's say at the bottom? For me, like to squeeze at the bottom, like I really, like I need to do a modification with my hands or something like that, or just making sure that my scapula on the right side is really down. So there's there's ownership into a movement, and I think that's what most bikini girls are extremely good at, because we understand that it's not about the stronger you get, it's like about the mind muscle
No.
connection, in order to
Mm-hmm.
preserve that small waist and like growing this muscle around, keeping that beautiful shape, like petite and elegant shape. Because if you just go balls to the walls and you just go from having to how much you can tolerate, and forget on how much you actually own the movement, that's when, I mean, that's strength. That's strength training. It's not bodybuilding. But bodybuilding really
Yeah.
needs to be, okay, what do you have? Then what do you own within the movement? And then what can you tolerate? So can you
Mm-hmm.
actually tolerate a resistance of 5 pounds on your side laterals that day? Or you can actually do more because of the fact that you're doing side laterals raised with cables instead of dumbbells, or like
Mm-hmm.
dumbbells you can tolerate more when dumbbells because you have momentum, or like XYZ. So those three words needs to be, and then you progress, like going back to, okay, again, what you have, what you can hone, and what you can tolerate. And that's a constant cycle that you have to go through, I feel like, to in order to progress accordingly, and not go crazy. So there's just no reason to do heavy RDLs if you don't own the movement. And let's be very real. A deadlift, it's pretty much a strength training movement.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pull motion, it's a full body motion. Like it's like doing a snatch. It's like, what's the best shoulder exercise? Would you say a snatch? No, like
Mm.
is the best hamstring exercise a RDL? Not really. It's an amazing
No.
exercise. Don't get me wrong. For the posterior chains, it's freaking phenomenal.
But if you go so heavy, you don't feel it in your hamstrings.
Yes.
Like you could. There's a certain point where you then are like, cool, this is all just back. Like I'm just moving this move. I'm just moving the barbell now. It's not. I'm not
Yes.
feeling it in my hamstrings. I'm feeling a little bit of a stretch, but I'm sure you probably feel just as much stress if you were doing a hamstring curl.
Right. And you need a contraction. Like you need
Yeah.
to not forget that you need the contraction on the
Mm-hmm.
movement. So that's, I mean, that's a really good point that you just said. And I think that would be really, really insightful into how people approach their training, because there's no movement that you really need. It looks really good on Instagram. Don't get me wrong. We love a
Oh
good
yeah.
RDL on Instagram, but sometimes, I get, I mean, I get one comment every time on my Instagram. Oh, you don't lift heavy. I don't think that's, yeah, because there's no point. Like, do I lift heavy? No, but I lift with my hamstrings actually. So
Yeah.
like I'm this is the craft of bodybuilding. It's about
Also, you've
lifting
gotten
with your
yourself
muscle.
to a, yeah, you've also gotten yourself to a point where you don't need to lift heavy anymore. I think that's what I think people forget.
Mm,
I think if you do, like at the beginning of my journey, I definitely needed to, progressive overload to get the muscle I have now. Do you know what I mean? But in the moment, you also, in the middle, I feel like everyone goes through this where like the beginning of their journey, they're just like, I just want to lift as heavy as I can, get as strong as I can on each movement, get one rep of 100 kg on squats, or, do like all the meathead bodybuilder shit. And then slowly, progressively, they find, okay, this isn't working for me. Let's try and meet in the middle. Let's try and do like progressive, but like try and actually get good reps versus it just being a random rep. And then you're like, okay, cool. I don't actually need to go as heavy now. I've got the muscle I have. Now I need to focus on more connection and more specifics. I feel like that's where my journey's kind of gotten me to. Because I do think that you need to lift heavy to build muscle. I do believe that, but I think you have to do it in the right way where it's not, especially for women anyway, for girls. And this is specifically speaking for bikini, because I don't know what it's like for other, obviously, I'm sure it's like the exact same for other categories though, on just a different scale, because obviously there's more muscle mass that they need to grow. But I think you just have to be specific with training and be very picky with what you do versus just doing everything. So, yeah.
yeah, no, there's a time and place for everything, and there's a lot of trial and errors. But I think having the mindset of like, what muscle am I, especially, again, strictly for bikini training, what muscle am I trying to train today, and how
Hmm.
can you isolate it as much as you can, because there's not, a lot of science nerds would say like you can't isolate a muscle because all muscle need to like be or like joint be in action in order to isolate a muscle. Even with the bicep, your bicep curl, like you need your shoulders to be stable and to have like your forearms,
Yeah.
also not going back and forth with that elbow flexion and extension. But at the end of the day, like, how can I isolate it the most? And you would agree with me, the
Mm.
hardest bicep exercise would probably be with the spider curl, with like an extension
Yeah.
where you're like, or like the one like they're heading like this, or like you have no momentum and you're like
Hmm.
restricted as much as you can. And then try to go 30 pounds on that spider curl. There's no way. So like
No.
heavy, I would make you do spider curl with 5 pounds and you would be shaking. So I
Yeah.
think weight is really relative to how much stimuli you can like actually bring to a muscle. and
Yeah.
uh I train with Maria, which you know who that is, Maria.
Yeah.
I train with her past weekend, and I'm making her do abduction, and like bless her, she lifts really heavy, and I'm making her like switch a little things, and she's like, oh my God, now she doesn't feel her hip flexors, and she's like, it's all glutes, and she's shaking by like rep 5, like
Yeah.
shaking on rep 5, and she's like, what is going on? And I'm like, it's just your brain rewiring like new connection, because that's what happens when you start shaking at the gym and you're just kind of like focusing. It's like your brain rewiring like to new, like creating new connections on your
Mm.
muscles, because you didn't like use those muscle for a long time. So I don't know, I just find it so cool and so interesting, and like there's so many ways to isolate the muscle. But with that being
Mm.
said, you're in a different journey, obviously. Like you're kind of like doing both. Do you have a specific like goal? Do you monitor your training differently? Like you said, except like the resting and like preserving your energy for, excuse me, your legs and everything. Apart from that, like do you monitor your training differently? Like when you did your leg day, like how does that look like for you?
I mean, to be fair, it's kind of a bit hard. It's hard because I've never kind of like had to kind of try and balance two things at once. And don't get me wrong, I don't need to be running. Like, it's not like I don't need to be running. I don't need to be doing functional fitness. Like, these are all things that I just enjoy to do. And I don't want to say to myself, I'm not allowing myself to do this. Like, I want to do it. So, like, I was like, if I want to, if I can balance both and do both and be able to maintain and preserve the muscle that I have and not obviously grow in other areas or anything like that. Because at the moment, with where I'm at, physique wise, shape wise. We're doing a little bit of a recomp at the moment. So we're losing a little bit of body fat, but without really thinking about it. I think I spoke about this before a little bit, but like we're not putting any pressure on actually doing it. It's just naturally coming off. So we're just allowing that to happen. We're eating around 2,500 calories every day, even on rest days, and it's naturally just coming off. So we're like, cool, let's just leave it at
Wow.
that. We don't need
Beautiful.
to over pressure and be like, right, our rest days need to be this, our leg day needs to be this. Our thing, we're just doing straight. This is what we have, and we've even said calories are going to be 2,500, and we've set ourselves macros where we've got protein, fats, carbs, but sometimes I overeat on fats, sometimes I overeat on carbs, but as long as that 250, it's 200 or 2,500 like is hit, then that's fine. Even if I do go over, it's not the biggest deal, but it just gives myself something to stick to. But training wise, the running's actually helping me weirdly feel, because I'm not running long distance, like long distance, but there's a lot of different styles I'm doing. So, which I used to do in prep anyway. So when I started, I used to do a lot of my cardio as hit, which I said to you before. I did like hit cardio, so I did a lot of sprints and stuff like that, which
Hmm.
helped me keep my muscle mass, but obviously, strip body fat down a little bit when I was in a deficit and stuff. And what I've noticed the last couple of weeks with my running and stuff, is my leg density is getting better. So like for me, that was something I always struggled with, was leg density. Because I'm a tall girl and I'm quite long. So for me, when I was getting lean and stuff, that was the first thing that was going, was my legs would go a little bit stringy. Even, however much I was training, I still obviously, we brought down cardio, all that type of thing. My legs would always kind of lose a little bit of density and size. So weirdly now running has kind of helped bring that density. Like my muscles feel different. They feel a lot harder. Which is weird to say that, but like I thought I was worried about losing muscle mass. But I still have two lower body, like heavy lower body days a week. And when I say heavy, obviously it's not like heavy, but we still need to make sure that we preserve muscle. So we are still kind of in that mid range of making sure that we progressive overload, not too much to the point where it's just ridiculous and it's not
Very
worth
challenging.
training.
Just
Yeah,
very
it's
challenging. Yeah.
it's challenging the muscles, so it's not, because we don't, I don't, it's weird because we don't want to obviously do too many reps, because that's what obviously then the functional training
Fatigue.
is for. Well, I mean, the functional training, we do a lot of reps. So sometimes we'll go up to close to 50 reps on like some exercises. So we don't need to do that in our training. So I try and stick between 8 to 12, maximum 15 reps. And try and really focus, like you said, like we were saying before, mind to muscle connection, going heavy, making sure we're really focusing on those types of things. And if I can push up a little bit heavier with keeping that mind muscle connection, then we'll go up that little bit heavier. But we won't go ridiculous, because again, there's no point. And I know as soon as I go too heavy, there's other things that are firing and all that type of thing. But I mean, there's no goal at the moment. My main goal is literally just to preserve muscle. Like I want to keep doing what I'm doing and make sure I can preserve muscle, and I'm still progressing for bodybuilding, because I'm not done with bodybuilding, and I don't want to give it up and say, okay, cool, we're just doing this, and then later on down the line I'm like, cool, I've got to rebuild again. So I want to make sure I can preserve everything that I have, and then that's pretty much it, if I'm honest, just making sure we can preserve.
I think the biggest thing that you've said here is you want to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like that's going to be the best investment you can make with yourself, is always keeping that in forefront. It's, am
Hmm.
I doing what I actually want to do? Does that feel right? And then when you sign up for something and you keep on making that agreement with yourself that this is actually what you want, or when you have a bad day, you're like, no, but I actually wanted this, it's going to be so much easier to look back on, no, I wanted this, and do I still want it? And you can actually ask yourself many times like whether or not you want it still, or you
Hmm.
don't want it. But for me to hear you say, no, I just do it because I want to, I'm like, okay, well, that
Hmm.
was the struggle when you came off from stage. It's just like, I don't want to do it anymore. And I hear it
Yeah.
all the time. I don't want to see a gym. I don't want to step on a cardio machine. Like, what it means that you did something that you didn't want to do for a very extended period of time, that now you like don't like it anymore, or like
Yeah.
your, you know, your environment, like you shut down that part of yourself for a long time. And I don't think like nothing in life is worth doing something that you don't want for an extended period of time, you know.
Hmm.
um so
No,
even
I
if
completely
you
get
know,
that.
you have your bad days, like let's say running, like you can, the fact that you can always not want it anymore, maybe it gives you, like it gives you the push of like even wanting it, because you're like in such a power, like empowering place in your life right now, where you're doing what you want.
Yeah.
And it's been a while, because doing what you want in a society, or just like a environment of bodybuilding, where like you're almost told, you know, oh, this is, I mean, by everybody, everybody knows what you should want, right? Like you should do this, you should want this, you should talk this way or walk this way. And when you're not surrounded by people that tells you like you should trust yourself, and actually, do you want to do this, like is that what you want to do? And I feel like now you are in that place, and surrounded by people that are actually supporting you into that journey. um I feel that's really like, that's the empowering place. That's
Mm.
how girls should train. Like for me, it breaks my heart when I see like someone telling me like they don't want to go train anymore. I'm like, wait, that's so sad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like
Because what did you
it,
go to get to that place?
yes, or like not wanting something anymore. You know, I mean, not wanting something is one thing, but like actually hating it,
Mm.
yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you're like on that little venture of yours of like wanting to
Yeah.
do things. I think that's really key. That's really key of enjoying,
I
you
think
know?
it's key for
Like that
training.
it, I know, right? Like even what if like someone comments on your picture, right? And they're like, what are you running for? Like, you know, you're for like, because I want to. Because I want
Yeah.
to. Like, why are you training with 5 pounds? Because I want to. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that should be the answer for everything. Because I want to. I want to train like this, I want to. I want to walk like this because I want to. You know, as long as it
Yeah.
feels right for you, like it's always going to be justified, you know, I feel
I
like.
think that's the answer. And I feel like I was just about to say, kind of like, what is your, um, not what is your why, but like, what is your like reason to keep going, I guess sometimes. And generally, my answer now is enjoyment. Like, I want to keep going because I want to enjoy it. Like, usually it
Mm-hmm.
would be like a specific goal, a place that I want to get to, and all that type of thing. And honestly, that doesn't drive me anymore. It doesn't. Like, it doesn't, like, these things, they don't drive me towards training. Training needs to come from a place from enjoyment for me now. And that is how I'm going to progress tenfold more than anything else, whether that be like external, growing glutes. Like you can't tell me like, oh, I want to grow my glutes, that's going to keep me motivated. It's not. If I'm not enjoying my glute growth, and but the only thing I have in vision is like, right, glute growth, that's it. It's still, I just don't, I think that there's only so much you can kind of gaslight yourself into like telling yourself this is fun before you're like, cool, I'm not going to do this anymore. And this is how people burn out or like can't be bothered to go to the gym because they don't actually enjoy it. They just see the result. And I think I was speaking to my friend about this literally today because she's kind of going through something similar to what I did like the last couple of months where, you know, she was into bodybuilding, all that type of thing, and she's just become exhausted from it. And she's like, I don't know what to do because I want to train and I feel like I should be training, but I don't want to train. Like I'm not, when I get there, when I'm doing it, I don't want to train. Like I don't like doing it. I don't like doing the same exercise over and over. And I'm like, find something that you do like then. Like literally, even if it's completely the opposite, it could be yoga, it could be running, it could be anything else. And if you enjoy it, do that. And honestly, I swear to you that it will come back. Or even if it doesn't come back, it doesn't matter because you're doing something at least you enjoy now. And I think that
Yeah.
for me, I think you also, the older you get as well, you really, yes, the results drive you, of course. So that's something that we always want to try and like strive for and stuff. But I think it's actual enjoyment and the want to do these things that will
Amen.
drive you to progression
Amen.
more than anything.
Amen.
Because
Amen.
imagine you being
Yeah.
like, all these times you could have given up. Like, however many times you've been to the Olympia and you've always been top five, but it's always been bridesmaid, bridesmaid. The one thing you probably that kept you going, as well as obviously the dream, is because you love doing it. Like,
Babe, no,
because
that's
you
the
love
listen,
doing
listen,
it.
let me rephrase exactly what you said. That is the only reason, the sole reason. And that is why people are like, how does it feel to be Miss Olympia? I'm like, prep was the same. It was the same. It's phenomenal. It's great. I'm
Yeah.
very like I feel very proud of myself. Feel very accomplished, but I don't think it takes away from anything that I did in the past because you know what? I stay true to the fact that I always enjoyed training. Like, and I would fluctuate with everything else, but my core was always I would go back to training, and I still love it. And I think if you're in a place right now where you're lost and you're actually like you don't want it anymore, like Phoebe said, you either take yourself and do the hard work, which is like, okay, try new things, put yourself into a different setting. Like you started doing classes before, you started doing this, and then you're gonna eventually want to do something. And it doesn't
Mm.
have to be comparable to anything you've done before. It could, but go on that journey, like the same way that you found bodybuilding in the first place was you might find like your new passion and your new hobby and something that you actually want to do. And that's just growth. And people change and they, you know, maybe I like who knows, I just think there's so many things that we we don't go out of like a comfort zone, but it's not even comfortable anymore, so you're just sticking up and now you become a victim of your life. It's like a catch, like it's such a catch,
Yeah.
um
It's familiarity. That's what it is. I think
yes,
it's
but
because you're familiar with bodybuilding, but not you, but obviously, for example, it's something that you don't enjoy anymore. But it's familiar, and you're scared to. I'm not scared, but not wanting to step out and do something different because you're like, cool, I'm starting all over again. So like, what's the point? I already know I can do bodybuilding or do this, so let's just stick with this. Even though I hate it or don't enjoy it,
yeah,
let's just stick with it.
but
Because
it's
it's
like you don't
familiar,
want it
because I
anymore.
know, yeah, because this, you know what to expect. I think you know what to expect, whereas you venture out into something else and new, you don't know what it's going to happen. Or, I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're either going to like it or you don't, and you move on. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
Um,
But then you might cut yourself short of like the next most beautiful thing that is going to make you feel fulfilled.
yeah.
And like then you can talk on a podcast that you just run a 9K and like train. So like I'm glad you did it for the girlies. I think that's such, I mean, yeah, I'm so inspired by your journey, just to like the fact that you stay true to yourself. And like I could say the same thing with me. And I always told myself, I remember being so young and I was like, it built me into a place where I was like, the second that I don't enjoy doing this thing anymore, and it could be for any reasons, right? Like the day that I don't enjoy doing this anymore, I'm out.
Mm,
Honestly, there is no point. There's no point. You can't, because now like nobody can tell me like, oh, the prize money is so good. I'm like, that is
I
really
don't
not the
care.
reason. Like
Yeah.
I genuinely don't care, because if I don't enjoy my life, I'm not gonna look good on stage. Like I know it's like one of those things. If I don't like it, you're not gonna look good on stage. That plain
Mm,
blank period. Like maybe you get
yeah.
a pass for like one time, and like I mean, but after that, like I mean, you would want to win a show, and I guarantee you, like, there's a lot of girls that I can think of a competitor now that I did a guest appearance and she won the whole thing and she looks phenomenal. I'm like, girl, you have such a great future in the sport. And she's like, I'm done. Like after her first show, she's like, I'm done. I was like,
Huh?
oh my God, yes. And she was like, I'm burnt out. Like you don't know what I've just like gone through. And I was like, that is so unfortunate, because it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she's gonna, grow like a little bit and like find someone or something, that could help her um pursue that. But I think your compass, like your compass, or like your gut should tell you that if you don't enjoy doing this anymore, like, and you're actually for real and you're not bullshitting yourself because you're having a bad day, like leave.
Yeah.
Right, leave.
I think that's that's the main message when it comes to, I mean, anything. We're using this obviously as like training terms, but I mean, like with anything, if your enjoyment isn't there anymore, like I think it's time to at least step back or at least reassess and do something different. And it honestly is fucking scary because you've been doing, like, for me, I was doing bodybuilding for what, nine, almost 9 years. That's all the training I knew. Obviously not only training I knew, I did other training and stuff like that as well, but it's very familiar. I enjoyed
Yes.
doing that. So as soon as, when I didn't enjoy it and I was like, I don't want to be in the gym, I was like, what do you mean you don't want to be in the gym? Like, this was your life. You enjoy, like, this is, you would happily spend 4 or 5 hours in the gym. You used to do this stuff, why not now? So when that happens, it sucks a lot because you're like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, now what? But I think you then kind of do drift off into, okay, so what does make me feel good? And you try different things. One girl did message me and ask, obviously, what do you do if you are going through that, but you can't really afford to do many multiple, because that is again, it's a very blessed thing that we have. If we don't like the gym anymore, we can try another class and try another class. I'm able to be able to do that, which is great. Some people might not be able to. So I think, honestly, I would say give yourself actual time off the gym. If you can't obviously afford to do other hobbies or other things, obviously running is free. Yes, you can go outside and all that type of thing. So it's not too bad. But if you feel like you can't do a venture out into many other things, then I would generally say take time off, like actual time off, and then reassess from within. Like actually look at what you can do to better yourself and what you do for yourself, like self-care things and all that type of thing. But
Thieves, the chills that I have, okay, like this upcoming year for you is going to be, I mean, I'm gonna put it in the universe for both of us, right? But like for like I cut you off here because it's so beautiful what you're saying, and what you're basically saying is just dare to live your authentic self, because yes, it's going to be the most vulnerable place, and being vulnerable is in it's the fucking it's hard as shit, but it's
mm,
going to be the most rewarding thing. And I think that right now, like I hear you speak and I know you're enjoying like like the fruits of just you living in that authentic self, and like just take it all in, take it on the chin, because it's gonna come, being your authentic self. If you've been in a place where for a long time you suppress that for XYZ reason, it's gonna be tough to face. But I think now hearing you speak, like that's really what you're doing,
it
and
feels
you're being your
nice.
best self and just at peace, and then relationships are better, and then that's the real manifestation. But it takes work, and sometimes it takes that really harsh, my god, it was harsh, like it wasn't easy,
No.
but to let it happen, I think that's the most courageous part, is to let it happen, and dare to live in that damn, I really don't enjoy this anymore, like
Yeah.
what, like to just know and lean into like this is what is happening. And
Yeah.
like you remind me of that sometimes on other things, and like we can remind it that into businesses or like something that doesn't
Mm,
align with us anymore. But to stay in misalignment for anything, there's no reason, there's not enough money in the world to be in misalignment, I feel like, because
no.
the real richness, the real fortune is to be aligned with yourself and doing things
Yeah.
that are aligned with that.
No, I completely agree. And I think, yeah, it's hard, but I think it's worth it once you then get through it. I think anything's hard at the beginning, but once you get through it, I think it's worth it through and through. So I think it's just a case of you just have to keep being patient with what's to come. One thing I
Yes.
really want to do is, and I said this to Max, I want to do a vision board for 2025, like
Yeah,
really bad. I think we
that's
should do this for
sick.
a podcast episode. Obviously, you can't do
Okay.
like the visuals, but I don't know how. I need to actually look up how to properly do it and what the categories are, and because there's like specific categories that you have to
No,
kind
I
of
didn't
like.
know.
So there's a whole. I need
Of
to. I
course,
need to.
of course, there's a methodology to that
I
thing. I'm
need
like
to
vision board.
like.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stick pictures on the wall.
Yeah. I'm like, no,
Like,
there's like a method to it because it's manifestation. So it's like there's certain things. So it's like things about, so it's, oh, I guess it's categorized. It's like, I guess it's like career and then like career. There's other ones. I think it's different. I think it's different things, but there's different like things that you have to like envision or write down. And I want to do it on the podcast. I think it would be so much fun. I've never, obviously we can't do the pictures, but we can kind of write down what we would
Yes.
want under those categories. I think we should discuss. I think that would be really fun. Should we do that for the next
Yes.
one?
Okay, yeah, let's
That
do
would be
that for the next
fun.
one. That'd be
Because I
so
want to do it
sick.
before 2020. Obviously, I want to do it before Christmas, but I want to do it before 2025. So we can like actually
Yes.
manifest what's
Oh,
coming for
God.
2025.
Girl, I love this. I'm here
Yeah.
for it. Yeah,
Okay.
1000%.
I'm excited
Yeah.
for that next episode. I'm gonna hopefully next I wanted to do it this week with one of my friends. So I think we're gonna do the actual picture thing and then I'm gonna sit down and write down all the individual things. I've never done it before. And
Me
so many
neither.
people, I've seen like this trend on Instagram where everyone's like, my vision board came true this year. And like, they've kind of done like their pictures and then what they did this year. And like, I'm like, I want that. I want to try and like plan. I say I'm a planner
Yeah.
anyway, so I fucking love planning. But like, I want to like envision what I have for
Yes.
2025 before doing it.
Do the
So
picture, like do the full thing. I'm gonna do the picture too. I feel like
yeah,
we should have like a
we'll
Zoom
do
call like
FaceTime.
together, like a FaceTime of like a vision board and just like,
We'll FaceTime together, have a
have a
little
little like
chat, catch
pro
up.
coffee vision board
Yeah,
morning.
we'll do
Oh, I
that.
love that. Yes. Oh, I'm so
Oh,
in for that. Yeah.
yeah, that was fun. Well, that was a good episode, obviously about training and stuff,
Yes.
because obviously I've had a few questions on the Instagram and stuff like that anyway about training. So it's nice to just discuss it and stuff like that for sure. And if there are any other questions, because I think something we probably need to go through is going into, the season of 2025 and what you can kind of expect or what you can do to better yourself for 2025 season, competing season, because obviously nationals is it next week?
It's next week. Yeah, I think
Next
so.
week. So
Yeah.
I say everyone, but majority of people now are kind of finishing their season and finishing their time in prep and all that type of thing. We can kind of discuss obviously what's best to how to come out of that because it's a hard time sometimes to come out of that. But we
Yeah.
can kind of give you some tips kind of moving forwards going into 2025 for sure.
I think that would be so beautiful. I think
Yeah,
it's
that would
perfect.
be. Yes. Well, thank you
Yay.
guys so much for watching, listening, all that fun stuff. Please make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all those fun things. And we will see you in the next episode.
See you in the next episode. Bye,
Whoop,
guys.
whoop. Bye.